papa, scoobity papa. Welcome back, everybody, to Karandrin Role Playing. It's our first stream of the year. My name is Kevin Manus Pennings, also known as Crack Palantir. I will be your host and game master tonight for this episode 75 of Brise's Tale. And as always, my good buddy Max is here to play Brise. Say hello to the lovely people.
Hey everybody, welcome back to a new year. Well, it's same time, same place, same Karandrin organic world.
Yes, uber organic. Um, you
We
know,
are ready to go.
we are. We hope you had a great holiday season and hope your new year has started out okay. We are excited to be back to the world of Karandrin, and we've had a couple of really cool developments in the story in the last 2 or 3 episodes. I hope you've watched all those in their entirety because they are pretty crazy. Uh,
Indeed.
so, um, if you haven't watched those, I'd go back and watch those. But to bring us up to date, um, we know that many sessions ago, I guess actually before we started streaming, you had come across a lake that was the prison for a powerful sorceress named Verlag. She had been imprisoned there 5,000 years. Inadvertently, you released her. So we know all that. And after months of dealing with that issue, one of the wizards who was sort of trying to assist in returning Verlag to her prison, a gentleman named Oshekra.
I don't know if you call it a gentleman, but okay.
Well, let's see how gentle he is. That'll be something we explore this episode. Um, so he approached you last episode and said, "What can I give you that will convince you to show me where the prison is?" Now, Moshekra, as you can read down below, has not the nicest reputation. We know that he bucks a lot of wizards' councils the wizards' councils throughout the world of Karandrin largely meet to sort of keep the peace and keep off of each other's patch. And Oshekra has left several of those councils because he felt they were just meddling in the things he wanted to do. He wants to go his own way. He does not have the nicest reputation. So, um, um, so the Oshekra approaches you and says, "What can I give you?" You are part of a cult. We've only touched on that a few times in the stream, just because the Verlag issue has been so pressing. You're a cult of the 9 stars. Why don't you explain to people what that cult is?
Well, now that we're actually researching it, I'll have to remember off my head instead of going back to the details. But um, uh, the primary tenet of it is that the normal faith of all the gods in Karandrin. Alongside that, there's also the idea that magic is a basic, I guess, a fundamental ability that everyone has, but has been locked away throughout over centuries of kind of other religious teachings, right? That magic is only belongs to the clergy or belong to those who study it. So the Cult of the 9 Stars believes there to be several locations across the continent that are kind of like pools of energy, I suppose, and or at least they contain secrets to those unlocking that potential in hidden in everyone.
right, and finding those sites, and perhaps activating them. It's sort of
Right.
unclear, you
Right.
know. Will then suddenly grant everyone the ability to overcome these years of sort of oppression by the church and the various churches, um, and grant everyone the ability, supposedly natural ability, to use magic. Um, so um, you were
Right.
worried about Oshekra's motives for wanting to know about Verilag's prison, the location of it. He argues that wants it to see if they can lock other dangerous beings away in the lake. You don't exactly buy that. Or if it's true, you worry about who he's going to consider um, dangerous.
Exactly. Yeah. Everyone to him is probably
Right. And so, but you just sort of throw out, well, what do you know about these secrets of, the nine stars? You can't really ask clergy because it would be considered heretical,
right.
and you could face, imprisonment to execution.
Right. Right.
And so here you got this outsider, presumably knowledgeable. So you took a shot, and it turns out he had studied it some years ago.
Hmm.
And that was a huge reveal last session. Um, and so he has found more than nine sites
Many,
where
many.
that had the symbol of um, the star, which I uh,
7-pointed star, I believe.
right. And there are a number of theories about where to look for the stars and so on.
Mm.
And Osheker sort of turned all of those on their head, saying, no, it doesn't appear to be any of those appear to be true. But he
Right.
has maps locating what he feels is the vast majority of them,
Right. Right.
and saying that no, they weren't trying to unlock a natural ability. The runes and writings he found at those sites suggested they were trying to create a spell that would do so,
Right. Grant that ability. Yeah.
which, Brise is having a hard time struggling with. But she agreed, and after a couple of teleports, showed Oshekra the location of the prison. And Oshekra turns to Brise and says, well, now it's time for your reward.
Hmm.
Um,
And he shoots me with a lightning bolt.
why
End of
one?
stream.
That's right.
That long synopsis. It's now time.
That's right. So um, the um, he says that um, it will necessitate teleporting to his abode, where he can gather the notes and the maps for you. You can't be teleported in this system. You can't be teleported without permission, right? Because otherwise, it becomes a game-breaking weapon. And so you always have to, if someone's going to teleport with you, if someone's going to teleport you somewhere, you have to give your consent.
Hmm.
Um, and so he says, "Are you ready to join me in my home?"
I am. I have to trust that he's going to stick to his word. And
Well, I mean, you could say, "Hey, you get this for free," and walk off.
well, no, yeah, no, that's yeah. I just, I guess, it just if I could read, he's sounds like he's going to carry out his end of the deal.
Roll for it.
See what I feel. 78.
He seems to be telling the truth. That you don't
Okay.
get a sense of,
Right.
um,
I don't know him to be a dishonest person, just to be a person who
a little ruthless, a little self-centered, right? It's his goals are more important than merely getting along with other powerful wizards in a region.
Right.
Um, um, he was willing to kill you, for instance, when that seemed like a
Yeah.
legitimate
Yeah.
approach to defeating Verlag.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, he could have killed me right now anyway. He doesn't have to teleport me to his lair.
that's
So,
very true.
yeah. All right. Well, let's. I say, I'm willing, and check out what his home is like.
So he looks at you. He murmurs a spell, um, and there is um, a flash, and you appear atop a tower. You know what I didn't check was time of day. It was evening, wasn't it?
No, it's woke up at dawn. Mid morning was when we had the audience with Mia Grawl, right? And the little
Okay,
ceremony. Um, and it should have been, late morning or early afternoon that I went into town. And then the conversation with Oshekra, maybe 10, 20 minutes. So
right.
it's got to be
So early
early
afternoon
afternoon at
time.
the latest. Yeah.
So you appear atop a broad tower. Um, there is there's a lectern atop the tower. You're in a very rugged region. Um, the air feels very dry. The sun is setting behind um, some distant mountains, and you're in some very, very rugged hill lands. Um, definitely colder here than where you were.
Maybe like northwest, kind of somewhere.
I mean,
That would be my guess, but
unless of course, I guess he could go. Is
another
there any
world.
reason south? He could go south, couldn't he? The only question is, where is it? I don't know. It's tough to say.
It's funny also in like fantasy worlds, right? Do they follow like hemispheres? Is it is it on a spherical surface, or is it some
Right.
other
Um,
dimensional? Anything's
the
possible.
game Rune Quest, now called Hero Quest, is not on a spherical.
Right.
It is flat earther. It
Right.
is a flat surface.
Walk off the edge, so there's no poles are necessary.
Right. There's no angle. Well, I guess you could have the flat Earth though, the flat world tilted, and that would give you seasons.
I suppose, yeah.
It's
I don't. I
That's the
don't
only
know.
reason we
I'm
have.
not getting into logistics.
That's right. Well, I like thinking that stuff through. You know what I
It is a cool idea. Yeah.
mean? So, um, the tower top is crenellated. There is a um, very finely wrought silver lectern at the top. Um, uh, rugged, arid. You can see a lot of rock face in the hills. Um, there is vegetation, but it's largely scrub. So you get a lot of sort of sage greens and not a lot of like verdant areas. A lot of gullies, a lot of escarpments, um, and he he says, this way, and he clickety clacks on his metallic legs and um, goes down a hatchway clearly designed for him because he's so broad.
Right.
So it's like a 10-foot wide stairway.
It's like a little cutout of a spider. He just like fits through.
Exactly. you have to figure out how to squeeze
I gotta
in.
kind of like squeeze through.
Yeah. Um, um, and it descends down to a set of doors. He opens those up. You walk into a study with these big bay windows that overlook, this rugged landscape. There's no sign of like smoke on the horizon. I mean, it's past midday. If there's a town nearby, it should be leaving a smudge on the sky somewhere, unless the winds are high. Um, you go down, and it's like I said, a big study. There are tons of books around. Um, there's not really chairs. He just has sort of workbenches, or like almost like whether there be work surfaces that themselves have drawers, and but they're all sort of chest high to you, because he sort of just naturally stands, and he must be able to stand just without tiring.
Yeah.
There's sort of no real role for him to sit. Um,
Are there any? Well, yeah. I guess no. I was curious to see if any like other servants or guards around. But I'll see them if I come across them.
yeah, not so far. He passes to another door. Again, that's well, I guess it would be probably double doors to accommodate his width, and he just pushes through them. And this is, instead of stairs, this is just a ramp
Mm.
curving down the outside of the tower. Um, there are archer's loops here and there. Occasionally, you get a full window. Um, and he comes down to just an entrance onto the next floor. There's no door.
You know,
Um,
while we're going along, it's probably the elephant in the room, right? But I guess while we're walking down here, I ask him, it's like I've seen, it seems like constructs, people build constructs with human legs. It seems like, did you choose this body on purpose? You must have been
I did
asked.
not choose these limbs. They were chosen by my benefactors.
Mm,
I woke to find that this was how they saved my life.
I see.
But I tell you, they're quite nimble and quite strong.
Mhm.
Once I got over the horror of what I'd become, I'm quite grateful for them. He turns away from you, sort of in disdain at
Yeah.
Well,
Went through a
so,
lot of trouble to build this whole thing to accommodate him. Must have.
and it begs the question, who is they?
Right. That too.
And I mean, he's missing his lower half.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Basically the sort of bowl that carries him, it would basically rest at his belly button,
Right.
and you're like, who could build that so fast?
Right.
I mean,
Like you think he'd die without that part of his, body. I don't know. It
right.
is interesting to think about.
So they were able to construct that for him before he bled to death, died of shock.
Right.
Um, so you enter a library. It has a door around its on a far wall, no doubt leading to another ramp.
Mhm.
There are just tons of rolled parchment. I would call them scrolls, but I don't want to confuse the I don't want to confuse the
Right.
issue with being a magical item. These appear to be in various sizes and ages and stages of wear and so on. Um, there is an individual in the library. No, not that. There we go. It's a female half goblin, middle aged, sort of average appearance. She's short, heavy, um, with the typical sort of very black, stringy, thin hair of the goblins. Um, and she's got some chin whiskers on her as well. Um, and she rises as soon as she, you can tell she's in the process of rising as you guys turn the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And she says in Goblin, she says, "Master," and he says, "Vanru, go downstairs to the archives. Somewhere in the back, you'll find a small red chest. Bring it and any books that you find on top of it up with you. My guest and I will wait here for you until you return." She gives you a look and then back to him and bows, and off she goes.
It'd be nice to have a librarian.
Roll for me.
26.
Okay. She has several religious symbols on her, and it is those of the pantheon, of the local pantheon that you were raised under. Um, so interesting. Just looking at her interests and that sort of thing.
Right.
She's dressed in robes. There's definitively a feeling of a spellcaster to her. She leaves her staff leaned up against her chair that she was sitting in. There are here several chairs, but again, everything is spaced so that Oshekra can go where he wants.
Right.
And it gives this sort of feeling of, when conversation areas are too spread apart,
Mm-hmm.
it just feels like disconnected.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's so, you feel like it's so appropriate for him, right? It
Yeah.
sort of,
Well, physically and emotionally.
yeah, compassion and all of that sort of stuff is all secondary.
He keeps people at arm's length. Spider's arm's length.
That's right, leg's length. He keeps them at a leg's length.
Mm-hmm. How big is like this? This library. This room. If I kind of just peer down some of the shelves.
It's the whole floor, so it's probably it's a circle with a radius of probably 80 feet.
Wow.
Or so. Yeah, it's really large. There are tables and there are several chairs. And there's a sense of several workstations not intended for Oshekra. And so, and there's a sense of personality to each one. Like there's a high stool by one, there's these comfy chairs here with books beside them, but it's not going to surprise you, of course, if he has apprentices, right? It seems to be a thing where you just collect a handful of people who want to study under you, and you make use of them and send them on dangerous missions that you don't want to bother with. And
Right.
um, so he goes over to, he sort of ignores you, and he goes over to a table with a book or two, and he sort of picks it up and examines the title, cracks it open, flips through the pages, sets it down. I mean, he's just ignoring you.
I will just kind of I'll keep within his sights, but maybe look at some of the books on the bookshelves, pick one off, and just skim through it. See what he's got here.
It's clearly an organized collection.
Mm-hmm.
You find yourself in a section of history. No, I wouldn't say history. It's a philosophy. It's a section on what magic's role should be. So, for instance, there's one talking about magic on the battlefield.
Right. It
You
should
know,
be used, how it should be used. Yeah.
right. There's another one about the role of magic in court affairs,
Mm-hmm.
and there's not surprising. There's some that you can't read without your glasses. You're
Right. Spectacles.
right.
Sophistication.
Um, so he continues to ignore you.
I just debate conversation. I'm curious. It's like comments. Such a what a wide collection of well, what am I trying to say? I just am curious, like how big he thinks his collection is. Say like this must be quite an impressive collection. It's the largest library I've seen, aside from a few others.
The archives are twice this size, but I'm done with those volumes. I just haven't taken the time to get rid of them.
Mm.
I suppose a few I meant to get back to research whatever points they were making, either in history or about the nature of our powers.
Mm.
Your 9 stars was one, but it's been 25 years. I've never turned my attention back to it. He just turns back to a book, picks one up.
I'm curious what what are his goals right now, and I guess I'll phrase it like so. I guess everything in this library then is part of your current plan or your current goals, things you're researching.
That would be fair to say, or that of my apprentices. So it's several minutes, and Vanru returns.
Didn't even offer me tea. That's all I wanted.
So there's 2 bound volumes. There's about an inch of disheveled loose leaf parchment. And then there is a small red chest. It's sort of it's about 3 feet across, but it's only about a foot deep. It's very nice red stained wood. There's a lock on the chest and a chain is attached to the lock with the key.
Mm.
He looks at you and gestures for you to open the chest, like he's clearly like count your money sort of thing,
Right.
right?
Okay.
Um, the padlock is very high quality. It's plus 15 magic, plus 15 rune.
Oh my goodness.
Um, he it unlocks very easily. You open it up, and there's just a slew. Um, there's just a slew of maps in there.
Wow. This is this is a lot.
Um,
It's probably I wouldn't be surprised if the single most information on this topic contained in this place across the whole continent. Wowzers.
so he says, "Are you satisfied?"
I just looked through a few of them. Seem like they're legit, and nod my
Very,
head.
very detailed
Yeah.
city maps. Morgram, Alomar, Iron Hill, Pasadarius, Convergence,
Gosh, yeah.
Stanzen, Jackson-Failure, Pleston. I mean, it's
All over the place.
it's
All over the map to
all
be.
over the map.
So
Um,
I just kind of nod my head, probably, taken aback at like there's just so much here to take time to sort through all of it. This is good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
do you have a bag on you? He's not asking. I'm asking. Do you
Yeah.
want
I would have, just like sack from my venturing equipment. I left most of the stuff back at the keep though, but I have a bag that I'll take off and put that in there.
to? Okay. Um, he says, "Well, shall you join me for a trip back to Balabri?"
Yes, sounds good.
And raises his wand, mutters his version of teleport, which sounds nothing like yours. There's a flash, and you are beside his wagon and coachman.
Well, they went outside of battle. I guess maybe that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
He says, "I am not returning to town, but I trust you know the way."
Where are we? Are we? I mean, we're just in the outskirts. Like, can I see the town?
Yeah, you can follow the smudge of smoke
Okay.
coming,
I say, I know where to go from here. Probably just teleport back, actually.
Excellent. You've made a wise choice. Without a word, he turns and crawls into his specially made coach. The men were on guard the whole time.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was not the sense that they were slacking off. I mean, these guys are trained.
Right.
And he shouts an order, and they turn and they ride further out of town. They ride further west.
Probably has like many, strongholds throughout the wherever he needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about that in terms of, again, sort of the, the organic
Right.
nature of these sorts of things. It's, they probably have a residence in all the major cities that they operate in,
Right.
you know, probably some small house with an enclosed courtyard so they can
Mhm.
teleport freely without being observed.
Right.
And you probably hire a night guard and a day guard
Mhm.
to watch the place. Um, so, and it probably doesn't need to be much else there. There's probably, I don't know, there's probably 100 gold hidden somewhere, right?
Mhm.
Um, in case you are retreating and need to pay for a healer or something like that. But
Right. Right.
um, so, there's probably, I mean, I guess there's pen and paper there. There's probably not much else there. Um,
Yeah. Honestly, just little way stations basically for them.
right.
Um,
So,
so I need to get back to my horse at the pub where I was led to, and then ride on back to the keep. So
are you going to try to teleport back to the horse?
yeah, I didn't. I guess if I could teleport into town, but I don't think there's a good spot.
Well, just roll and see how well you remember that pub.
Sure, yeah,
If you can call it to mind.
64, yeah.
Yeah, so you've got
Okay.
a decent memory, so you feel fairly confident you can teleport back there. It might cause a bit of a scare,
A kerfuffle, yeah, but
um, but it would
I'll do
certainly
it. Teleport, around to the side. If I remember that part where his
roll.
carriage was. 75.
Yeah, you think you can find a place that hopefully should shield you from most people's view.
Right.
Um, all right, so
Okay. We'll do that. Do my channeling water skin here. Water skin adder.
roll to cast and then roll to hold the location in your mind.
37 cast
Okay, not great.
and 31. Remember the location.
So you wind up teleporting straight in front. Um, and there's a lot of shouts. Oh, what? Oh,
I just do ta-da.
but yeah, I mean, sort of, yeah. Lose 11 exhaustion instead of 10. That was not your best effort. But they just kind of cuss at you and go on.
Right.
It's like something happened. They haven't put it together, but they're not dwelling on it.
Right.
And
I
so
remember I once teleported to another town by accident. People screamed and were like, "What the?"
yeah,
Good to know in Ballery, people are more
that's fun.
whatever.
Uh,
Okay. Okay. So yeah, then we'll just go untie my horse and mosey back toward the keep.
Goblin Boy, as you untie your horse, Goblin Boy runs up. I watched your horse, sir. I watched it good. His hand out,
Does he look? Does he look washed?
No, watched it.
Oh, washed. Does he look washed then?
Yeah, that's right. He looks very.
My horse is just like dead. He's like, I watched your horse real good.
That's right. It's like I watched it get sold on eBay. That's what I watched it.
Okay. Well, I sure I'll give him 5 copper. Just thanks.
He's very excited at getting 5 copper, and runs into the tavern.
All right. Come back tomorrow. The tavern's burned down. I'm like, what have I done?
Exactly. That's the bar fight goblin.
Exactly.
Troublemaker.
Never give him any money. It's the bar fight.
He gets he gets drunk and then starts a fight, and then the candle gets knocked over, and that's it.
That's how it goes. All these wooden buildings. All right. Well, yeah. Get back on my horse then and ride back to the keep, hopefully uninterrupted without getting lost.
So yeah, I went and rolled your navigation roll. You did great.
Nice.
Make it up there. It's late afternoon now.
Okay. Make sure, see if I can, send a note once I get back to the guest house that I'm staying out. Send a note to request Foreigner, I guess would probably be better person. So I'll send a note for her. Unless I know where she's staying. I don't know if she's still in the.
Is there any reason to? I know not for a different topic. Is there a reason to contact HR?
I don't think so. I know I had returned the shield banner to him, and I do have one of the things I promised him is to arrange a meeting between him and the Eagles.
Right.
And I was going to try to bring that up with Foreigner as well. No. Well, I know he's also associated with the supposed cult following the Iron Empress as well.
Right.
So, but I think we'll let that we'll let that be on the back burner for now. Other pressing things. So.
Yeah, so you send the note to Faramar.
Along the lines of semi-urgent regarding. Well, I guess I don't want to put any specifics in it, right? Because anyone sees it, but please, as soon as you can, semi-urgent matter come up.
Send the note. There is a note to you from Aldrich, just checking in with your dinner plans.
Sure, yeah. I don't have any.
Oh, you know what we forgot about? Not in terms of role playing exactly, but more in terms of Restream's features. That's right. The ticker is back.
Oh, yes. Dragon, dragging, drugs, drag queen.
Huh?
Who could have lived without that? You know what I just noticed also is Quinn and Obi-Wan are not here. It's a little quiet.
It is a little quiet.
That's all right. Brise isn't dead. Merely life challenge. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's fun. I like that one. Here's my right.
Gobbles gobble of goobers.
Okay.
If you have a suggestion for a ticker, you can submit it at donor
post it. That's what we'll do. That's right. Oh, my camera went out of focus there. So he was asking about
any message to you for.
That's right. That's right. Once we get more like direct pay, while we're on the stream and things like that, people can send us money. We'll post things that we approve of. Mm-hmm. And that'll be kind of fun. So Audrey was asking about dinner plans and asking how you're feeling given your recovery from your wounds.
I do want time to go over these. I don't know what's on my mind right now. I probably do want to see him, but like all these notes, and things.
Let's roll.
Yeah. Am I just gonna stay locked up inside? And 18.
So 18 is that's your urgency for the thing. Even if we add a plus 25 to it, which I think is legitimate, that's a 43.
Okay.
But Aldrich's gonna be a plus 25 too. So roll again.
Okay.
So Aldrich's number is
57.
57. And would there be a third one? 4 wells, maybe, with no bonus.
Yeah.
Roll it.
Yeah. Depending how it goes with 92.
92. So
I feel like you need to subtract from that one because it's not as urgent.
Well, even if we subtracted 30,
It'd still be more than the others. Okay.
yes. But so I mean, so you're thinking about the four wells, maybe just because it's so close to being done.
Right.
And like once you feel like leaving that unfinished would bother you. And
Right.
so,
no, that's fair. Yeah. So, I could tell him that, I am making a good recovery and I do have to take care of some stuff tonight, but maybe another time soon.
right. Will you be available for him? I mean, are you trying to see him this evening at all?
Why don't we say we can meet up, we can chat for a little while, but I do
Spend the evening together. But
right.
so, so it sounds like you may be going out to the Four Wells next, wrapping that up, then returning to the keep. And
right now, the only thing though, you said it's already late afternoon.
Right.
So maybe I don't really want to be there at night. So maybe
you don't have to be there at night. You can be in the area at night, just camping.
Right. That's true. But I don't know. Would Brise rather be? I guess she does like the outdoors, right? So she wouldn't mind camping.
Yeah, she loves the outdoors.
You got to remember that she does like the outdoors.
Yeah,
I know. I would rather be in a cozy castle, protected, and
right.
But I understand. She wants to be out there. So okay, yeah. So I'll send him that note saying we'll hang out a little while, but we do have some business to take care of.
So tell him after supper, come by.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you send that note on.
Also, we should go to dogehype.com and get some
Doge hype.
Yeah, from Jimmy Joker 1IE.
Oh, fun.
About on a Jimmy Joker, I gotta say, not very tempting. Sorry for anyone on YouTube. That's this coming in on the Twitch side.
Oh man, now I gotta block you. What a shame.
I just got to admit, when you did that, Restream said, "Oops, something went wrong. Try reloading the page." I'm not going to click reload. I'm afraid that'll break the connection, but we'll just,
that would be no good. Yeah. So the sit and you want to relax, read. What do you think?
Well, I think we'll look through, spend some time looking through, the stuff that Oshekra, yeah, that's his name, gave me, and I guess we don't have to roll it up all right now, right? But I'll just spend time kind of looking through that until I hear back from R&R, Falrumar, or I get hungry.
Right.
Or my impatience, I'm like, this is too much information, Even if it's, if you read like something you're really passionate about, but it's still work to consume that information. So eventually you get tired of it.
You go through and read and read and read. And so even as a, younger man, probably in his mid 30s, he was very organized, there's a sense of drivenness to Oshekra that sort of immediately makes sense, he started, let's see which of the cities he started in. Should I do it that way? Yeah, it sounds good. It means I got to remember which cities are which, and I get them confused.
I can start writing them down if you want.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure I have all the cities. I can send them to you. So let's do this. Oh, I didn't have to hit return. Does it kind of do a soft return in this?
You just sent me Elven states. Yeah, maybe it's like Shift Enter.
Yeah.
Shift Enter does it.
Okay. Oops.
New line without carriage return.
So let's do. I'll just choose one for him. So he started. We'll say he started in the Elven capital Stanza, and I'll send it to you in a list. And he worked. He just worked his way through all the um, all the Elven state cities where he had, he just found another, and he would scour the city and so on. He would leave notes, um, keeping track of his progress and so on, like spoke to this person, spoke to that person. Um, he, at one point in his Stanzen exploration, he did um, get in trouble with the priests, the local priests there. And so those are the major cities in the Elven states. And he basically had a straight out magical combat with them. And he just mentions in the notes, slew him and moved on.
Okay. I wish I'd remembered to ask this about Shekhar, but what motivated him to research all of this? Is he also interested in something adjacent, or is he just that curious about it?
Yeah, you might leave that as
kind of a closed off person. I was trying to make conversation with him. Pretty terse.
Yeah, he's not warm and fuzzy, is he?
No. Okay.
And so he basically worked from Stanzen, did all the Elven cities, and then moved down to the Phyrexian cities.
Also, does Juxonphalia have a Z in it? Is that on purpose?
Oh no, it doesn't. Sorry.
I was about to say I know the elves were weird, but I didn't know they were.
They can't help it.
And add silent Z's to their
right. And so here are the major. There's the major cities in
Phyrexian. Convergence, Iron Hills, Pesidarius, Darnub.
Oh, you know what? There's one other. I forgot.
Fisheye.
Yep.
I've not heard of that city.
So
I like how Google, the only one Google doesn't like is Pesidarius. It wants to correct that as Pesidarius.
That's hilarious.
But all the others are okay.
So yeah, it was just a lot of information gathering, a lot of access to libraries. He eventually as you read his, it's sort of, he leaves notes of his own reasoning in there, and he talks about how there doesn't seem to be any sign of active, the cult is active.
Mm-hmm.
Like he would expect to have been sort of approached and maybe chased off if that were the case.
Right.
But like he doesn't get the sense that anyone's lying to him and so on. So he actually turns his attention to the criminal underground.
Okay.
And he starts just talking directly to them about the symbols.
Right.
And various other features of buildings that they were looking for. And it's basically through talking to criminals who have laid low in abandoned buildings,
right,
that he came across the first one in Stanzen. And so you like look through the maps, and you find the one for Stanzen, and you unroll it, and you're like, oh yeah, I forget. Stanzen is just huge. I mean, it's just huge.
How much bigger is it than Convergence, would you say?
10 times.
Oh, jeez.
It
Wow.
probably has it probably has the population of all of Theaxia.
Wow. Crazy.
Because of the collapse of the northern part of the empire,
Mm,
all the refugees flooded in,
right.
and so they actually had to start, moving them further down into the southern cities, which would be Pleston and Morgram, and and all the Elven cities are so much larger than any of the other cities you've ever been to.
Mhm.
Um, and Stanzen is almost intimidating, and it has four different layers of walls
Oh my
where
gosh. Yeah.
where it's just expanded. The original old walls are just torn down. Basically, there's remnants of them. Children play on the foot high stones that are left or whatever.
Right.
But they were torn down and just moved to another reach, and then those get torn down. And so there's two sets of full walls left, and the city has already overflown those.
Yeah. Holy smoke.
Um, so
I bet traffic is terrible there.
it's quite literally, yes. I
Mhm.
mean,
Mhm.
it's a mess. Um, so um, um, so there's like, I mean, you've sat and just read and read and read, and it was like 30 pages of notes just getting to where he's located the first building. He spent
Right.
several weeks just locating it, um, asking questions and so on. Um, so, and you unroll the map. It's marked on the map. Um, I like doing polar coordinates. It's fun. Sort of a polar coordinate version, doing D100.
Yeah.
Um,
It's fun. Yeah. It's a good way to do it.
so it's about 2/3 out of the city, and it's east southeast. But it's obviously marked on a map, but just to give you a visual idea of where it is in the city. Now it is going to be, these maps are 25 years old,
Right.
so that's going to be a problem. Um, so um, so knock on the door. It's servants asking if you tend to come down for dinner, or would you like something brought up, or have something in the parlor upstairs.
I'll ask him, to bring something up. I'm definitely invested.
Um, so they bring you food, and you don't care about food, so you just eat the food
Yep.
and keep reading. Um, and there's another knock on your door, and it's Falramar.
Okay.
And it's a good place for a little break.
Yeah.
And then we'll get back, and we'll see what Falramar has to say about the news of Oshekra. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us up to this point. We are going to. Oh, I can put on my new. I can put on my. We'll be back ticker. That's right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
forgot about that. Where is it? There we go. There we go. So we'll be right back. Thanks for watching up to this point, and we're gonna stretch our legs and grab some drinks, and we hope you do the same. We'll be right back with you. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us. I appreciate it. We both appreciate it. So, Faramar, um, uh,
You want to
female.
remove the ticker before we?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
We're always taking a break. We're always.
That's what it feels like in my life. Um, Faramar, we know to be principled, older elven wizard. She has sort of unflinchingly faced problems of ethics, burn bridges willingly if it seems like things aren't on the up and up. She's a little inflexible, but
Mhm.
generally we think a good egg is Brise's impression. Um, um, so, yeah, so Faramar um, enters and closes the door, lifts your note questioningly.
Yeah, I
And she
say.
says, what news?
Well, the news is Oshekra. Unfortunately, on the way into town, he confronted me and asked me
Confronted?
confront. Well, summoned,
Confronted?
confronted. He fronted me. There's
Oh,
nothing con about it.
that's right.
Anyway, he um, was interested to know the location of Verilag's prison, um, which I've described before. I believe I've described before to her a lake somewhere in um, was it southeast of Alomar, southwest of Alomar,
I think
definitely
it's
west of Alomar, city of Alomar, and he desired to know the prison's location on the pretext of learning how to, lock other beings up in there, other evil, entities possibly. But I wasn't entirely convinced. Um, but I kind of ended up telling him anyway because he gave me an offer I couldn't really refuse. Um, but I wanted to bring it to your attention to see if at least put it on your your radar, for lack of better words, whatever they'd say back then, to bring it to your attention.
what could he have possibly offered you that was worth giving him that power?
Well, I just point to what's in front of me. It's wealth of information for something I find extremely dear, and that could, in my mind, benefit all of you know all the world. Um,
Rumor has it that Oshekra is already quite skilled at constructing prisons for entrapping various beings.
mm,
He talks openly of capturing various magical creatures and performing experiments on them.
mm.
Well, what's done is done. Do you have any objections to me letting the others know?
No, I think that's for the best. Um, and I do apologize. It's a difficult situation to navigate.
Um, she looks at you flatly and says, don't pretend that you're sorry. You clearly got what you wanted out of this. Now we'll just see what it costs the rest of us.
Okay.
And she says, perhaps you'll make better decisions in the future.
Oh my. Okay.
and she simply turns and leaves.
Well, that got me annoyed, but I mean, I can't really get angry at an 800-year-old wizard.
I don't know. Why not?
Well, you
I
can't.
think the audience would love to see you get angry at an age.
She's like, I'm old enough to be your great, 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 great grandmother.
I'm old enough to be your primordial ooze. That is such a great line. I'm going to use that from now on.
Oh,
I like that. I'm proud of that one.
no, no.
Um,
I think it was worth it, but obviously she doesn't see eye to eye. So
it's yeah.
and she didn't really give me a chance to ask for an audience with the Eagles either. So I might have to do that another time.
Sure. Um, so, her words are certainly burning in your mind. And so um, you try to get back to the reading, but I mean, she's just kind of angered
Yeah,
you and guilted you.
yeah. Now I feel good. I'm like,
um, like every time you start getting excited about reading, then you're like, now I feel guilty about being excited
yeah,
about reading.
yeah. Maybe, yeah. I'll set a note just for Aldrich. It'd be good to see him talk my feelings out.
Um,
I know he said after supper, which I guess is this time. So,
right. Yeah.
or I could just go by. I forgot. I know where he kind of works.
And where he lives, where
Yeah,
his chambers are.
right.
Did you guys make a decision about meeting parents?
I know he brought it up, and I said I think that's a good idea.
I'm just trying to work out when.
But yeah, I didn't plan out any logistics. You know, I'm already doing enough of that in real life, Kevin. I don't want.
I hear you.
He
Well,
starts being like, "All right, so we're gonna take this wagon, and it'll take us 3 days to get here, and we'll have to pay for food." I'm like, "Let's just teleport." It's like teleport. Don't you know there's delays and everything, and too many wizards are trying to teleport right now, and it's snowing outside.
That's right. What about COVID? Um,
You can catch it when you teleport.
that's
Being in
right.
a wagon is much safer.
That's how I got it all 4 times. Um, so yeah, so I mean, you sit there for half an hour and like sort of flip half-heartedly through the book, and then you don't you're not really reading, and so you flip back, and because you're not really paying attention, um, and then some amount of time passes, and there's a knock on your door, and it's it's a servant telling you that Aldrich is in the foyer, and where are you ready to see him? And where would you like him to be shown up to if you are?
Yeah, we'll go meet him in one of the parlors. Just have it to ourselves and whatnot.
Um, so yeah, he walks in. He's you have some beverages brought in, and he they stoke a fire in the parlor upstairs, and he walks in. He seems to be in a good mood. He reads your face and says, what kind of day have you had?"
Yeah, well, I'll tell him in best way I can explain that. Basically, I might have let slip some valuable information to the wrong ears, um, because of temptation of reward.
I don't think there's any reason to like speak of it in code, is there? I mean,
Well, yeah, I don't know because it's just I don't know how much he understands about magic and stuff. I guess last time we spoke, he was interested in my adventures. Right now, and tell him stories. So I
right.
with that in mind, I wouldn't, sugarcoat it so much. So there were some Verlag's, done with, but the location of her prison is, um, well, I guess her prison itself, is still something to be guarded and kept secret. And I let that go for a um,
For
someone
information.
questionable morals. Yeah.
Well,
For
important to your faith, though, right? I mean, in
Right,
your
right. For information, I guess I would word it as I made a sacrifice for something important to my faith, and I'm just trying to sort through the guilt.
he's totally on your side. He's like, I'm sure it was the right decision. What real harm can come of it? Um, you said this wizard had helped you against Verilag, and so it can't be all that bad of an apple. I mean, you're like,
I really like his stance on things. Yeah.
yeah, he's just, yeah. Um, it's like the Family Guy where Lois is complaining, and Peter just sits there not really listening and goes, "Well, they're wrong about everything, and you're right about everything."
That's pretty great.
It's their problem, not your problem. Um, I don't know. I don't believe doing that to anybody. I'm like, look, if you want the straight dope, then talk to me, but I can't blow smoke up your ass.
Mm-hmm.
So he makes you feel better, obviously, but you also know it's kind of, it's
Not coming from a true place,
not,
true
it's
understanding, situation.
right. It's coming purely out of his affection, not from his judgment,
Right.
not from his counsel. But still, it's nice to be supported and it's nice to be loved. It does make you feel better, even if it doesn't make you feel better about the situation.
Right.
Um, so, um,
Excuse me.
he, you guys just kind of exchange stuff. Is there anything in particular he needs to know? I'm not trying to be leading in that regard. I'm just actually asking.
Well, I would tell him I am going to later tonight. The business that I'm taking care of is going back out of how do I explain it? So where I got my injury, there was some unfinished business there, and we'll be going back there.
I mean, you can just say there are chambers I wish to explore.
Yeah, there are places I wish to explore.
You have to be more careful this time. Okay, I'm careful as I can be.
Yeah, I'll look out for any invisible undead creatures.
You're like, I'm just going to blame Kevin. It's really Kevin's fault. It's,
to be fair, though, what's funny is I play like this in all my other D&D campaigns, right? It's like you said, there was this feeling of dread as soon as I entered, and I'm like, well, I just walk in, I can't really do anything else,
Right. I mean,
next time I might, if I feel that sense, like maybe I'll throw a stone or do some other investigating before.
Sure. I mean, yeah, you can sort of test the waters in various ways, try to get things to react, and and certainly as you get more abilities, magic wise, you'll be able to, cast protections on yourself that.
Right. Jonathan, it's funny because I could have used the detect ambush spell, and that is probably exactly what would have located that creature.
That would be funny.
Didn't think about it, but anyway, and I tell him, I'll try as best I can. I think I've eliminated the dangers from there. There's just a little bit left to explore.
Right. It's
Quinn said something, but I can't see it because this "oops, something went wrong" message is in the way.
Oh, that's. Oops. You're gonna reload. Oh wait, hey.
Am I gonna reload? Oh, it went away. Sweet. Fixed it. I don't know how, but it's
Oh,
gone now.
Quinn's joined us. Oh,
He
Lord.
says, "Who's doing what to whose ass? Your ass, Quinn."
That's
And
right.
you get to name it.
That's right. It's a very cozy evening with him thereafter.
Oh, good.
And um, you feel yourself in danger of just falling asleep there on the couch with him,
Mhm.
um, while you um, make out and just talk sweetly to each other and that sort of thing, and you just yeah, you probably need to make a discipline roll.
Yeah, Brees, come on. 41.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to do it. So you
Man.
wind up just staying really late, and he wakes you at some point, and then you both nod off again, and then servants wind up waking you just to find out, hey, do you need anything else? Do you need help getting to your chambers? And so you're like, all right, I guess I'm going in the morning, right? So, uh,
Oh, to be a female adventurer to have emotions. I'm just kidding.
uh, but I was going to ask you when you, because my friend just got that new job, and she had to list her pronouns,
Oh yeah.
right? Did you have to do that when you started?
No.
No,
Not at
really.
all. Yeah.
That's that. It's that new. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, that's listing pronouns in terms of like,
How you
does
like to
it
be
mean,
referred to?
right? How do you want to be referred to? Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I had to put, Mr. Like I go by Mr.
Right.
Maximus. But yeah, not any survey like
You didn't put captain.
that.
I'd like to
Esquire.
be referred to captain.
The what was it, the doctor Reverend Martin Luther King
Oh
Jr.
yeah,
Please refer to me
yeah,
as.
yeah. Yeah, that would be fun. I like, the old video games. I guess I don't know if new ones do it nowadays. I don't play that many, but you would type in your name. I'd always love to put you space bastard, so
Yeah,
that you would get those great situations where they would say, "You saved us all, you bastard." That just, that sort of, that
give me
always,
all your money, you bastard.
that's right. Thank you for saving my kingdom. You can have any award you want, you bastard. Just so it's sort of,
Yeah.
contradictory. Um, so so yeah, you get helped to your chambers, and
Yeah.
they I mean, this is very high servant level of service here. So they
Oh
they
yeah,
help you undress, and they stoke the fire. They do everything for you basically, and
as
um,
it should be.
that's right. And So yeah, so you pass out. So let's do your um, three rolls, and we'll move on to the next day.
Got a 25,
So wake up early.
40,
No dreams.
and a 4.
Man, you keep getting a little sick.
I do.
That's weird. You've had
COVID, man.
That is something.
Leaked into Karandrin.
So just yeah, I've been playing Plague Incorporated. You ever play into that where you designed the virus to kill everybody?
Yeah. Create a virus, yeah.
Yeah, I've been.
Sort of wipe out you.
Quinn actually sent me that for Christmas. Quinn sent me that, so
Yeah.
I've been having
It's
fun
funny
playing.
how there's a lot of variations on that game. I remember as a kid playing an old Flash, internet game called Pandemic or something like that. And
Oh
it was
yeah,
like that. It was kind of broken though, because if you tried to be really aggressive, but then you'd always, like, some country would just close its borders and you'd lose the game. It's like, okay.
oh wow, yeah.
I mean, it was a free game, but yeah, it wasn't well. So,
Yeah,
I
that's
love it.
when, like with Ebola, that's one of the things that, in terms of it being aggressive, that if it's too lethal, it can't spread.
Right.
It
It
just
doesn't have
yeah,
enough time to, you just quarantine the people and they die.
right. Well, they quarantine themselves because they're too sick to move, and they
Right.
can't make it to the next village to spread it.
Right.
And so there've been some variants like that that just burn themselves out because
Right.
it's way it's one of those. It's hemorrhagic, right? I mean, you just bleed from everything.
Yeah.
That's pretty horrible. But anyway, not that you're about to get Ebola.
Ebola.
Uh, um, but
Must have
so
caught something from Oshekra. Oh man.
that's right.
Wake
So
up, I have spider legs. Oh
you're a little queasy. You're like, hey, whatever, it'll be fine. I want to get stuff done. Um, and yeah, so you eat, you know, bathe and
no.
gear up, I guess, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna get
And
sharp.
so this is,
I'm just
um,
catching up on my notes. While I catch up on my notes, why don't you explain what the four wells is?
yeah, I was about to put the thing up. So he had been, Brise had been exploring uh, this area that the locals call the Four Wells, which is a set of these set of four towers. Basically, three on one side of this little courtyard, and then one on the other side. It's up on a side of a mountain in a uninhabited valley. So it got this nickname because the stones used to build the towers themselves are so large in relation to the overall size of the tower. They look like a well structure, and um, lights had been seen in that area by a family that was traveling through to settle in Balabri, and Max passing that way, Brees passing that way, thought she would explore them, and in doing so, learned that the three towers that share one side of the courtyard are actually giant vats of blood, so far as we can determine. Floating on top of each of those vats was a rowboat with a chain that descended down into the depths, and there was a skeletal warrior rowing the rowboat round and round on each of the three towers. So giant vats of blood is seemingly what they are. Now, maybe they're only halfway down. Is that true? The bottom half, we can't say we've swam to the bottom to discover, but by looking at the angle that the chain descends down, it's basically the system to stir it. And
Yeah.
these poor undead paladin who were actually sent to kill the creator of this grotesque monstrosity,
Mhm.
were themselves defeated and raised by that necromancer, and they were enslaved for years, just stirring.
Right.
A second assault on the establishment by a group of paladins by the same pantheon did manage to defeat this necromancer, allegedly, but she had developed a poison that if it killed you, it then transformed you into undead.
Mhm.
That group of paladin were also killed, but not enslaved, but they were undead of a noble sort, and they were trying to free their companions, but there was a magical barrier preventing any undead from passing through.
Right.
Um,
Now,
so,
Brees, another paladin, comes and was able to free um, the three warriors stirring the vats with a code word that I had or code phrase I had read within one of the towers, um, which "blood for the throne" I think was the
yeah,
phrase. And that phrase freed them of their bonds, allowed them to ascend, and then allowed the other group to also pass on.
Right. Just apparently the fact of freeing their companions was enough to release these paladins from these more noble undead paladins from being bound to earth, because they felt so strongly in their duty to release their friends
Right.
that that's what was keeping them here on earth, or here on Karandrin. Anyway, so um,
Now I'm looking for a way to drain. Well, at least not to. Well, we'll figure out if there is a mechanism to drain the blood from these,
right,
and we don't necessarily want it to spill over, into this valley, but
right.
we do want to learn how it's being held and how it can be removed.
What to what purpose and
Right.
so on.
Right.
But if there's a way to sort of spoil this whole operation, then we'd rather just go ahead and spoil it as opposed to leaving it for somebody to accidentally set in motion.
Right.
So we found an underground passage that that seemingly leads to the underworkings of the towers, but the battle to get inside was quite fierce. And while Brise came out on top, she also nearly lost her arm. And so she's been recuperating and then dealing with other matters. And so hopefully she can hop over here and finish up exploring this place
Yeah.
and knocking it out. So I guess are you just going to get geared up and go?
Absolutely. Yeah. Unless there's no one stopped me, but yeah, I'll get all my adventuring gear, and we'll walk a ways out of the keep and do my teleport to. I will try to teleport to the spot I had memorized was kind of a ways down from
It's on the
the
floor of the valley.
right, and like a short, basically like a 10-minute walk, from the
Oh, I see. You want to go. I see. You want to go higher up on the mountain,
right.
not
If
the clearing, not the clearing you could see.
Yeah,
In
well,
the,
actually, now that I remember, last time I tried teleporting there, I made a mistake and ended up in
yes.
that prison. So let's play it safe and maybe teleport further away, and then we'll take like an hour or so to walk up there if need be. Um, so I can try teleporting to my campsite, right? Which
Right.
that had like the abandoned carriages that were smushed together.
Yeah. These carriages that were kind of pressed together to make makeshift housing for
Mhm,
someone,
mhm.
and fairly distinctive. Roll to see how comfortable you are remembering that location.
It's a 33.
It's all right. I gave you a bonus both because
Yeah,
of your stats, but also because it is kind of unique and it's not been that long.
it is.
Although
Yeah,
everything feels long in Karandrin because it
it
is
does. Yeah, well,
such a
especially when you
detailed game.
took weeks off. Yeah, so
Yeah, and in Karandrin, once you take a week off, it feels like a century.
mhm.
Um, so um,
Okay,
um,
so yeah, we'll try to teleport there, and then from there we'll maybe pick a spot in the valley and start walking. So, um, all right,
all right, so roll to cast
okay. Using my channeling
adder.
adder here, 68,
Okay, and then roll to aim.
100,
Boom! You are
down
standing.
down to the atom.
That's right. You are standing proudly by these weird carriage shelters that have this sort of hodgepodge carriage shelters, sort of a two-room house made out of carriages.
Yeah,
um, roll for orientation. Roll with your wits.
82.
You're on the ball. You look around. Um, you draw the flail just in case, and you're looking around, and things don't seem particularly changed. Um, no evidence of animals passing through or anything like that. There's still dew on the ground.
Mhm.
Um, You can probably see where rabbits have passed through and foxes, things like that, in the last hour, but that's about it. So, not too bad.
Okay. Well, then I should be able to see. If I recall, I think it did. I don't know if I had a view of the four wells, right? But I should have a
Yeah,
view.
you do. You do have a view of the four wells, but of course you can't teleport that close.
Right, but I can teleport, down into the valley, at a spot. I'll pick a spot.
Well, high up on the mountain, you mean?
Well, yeah. I'm just afraid of getting too close, So I'll maybe halfway up the mountain, to the four wells, pick a spot, teleport there,
Sure.
and then continue the rest of the way on foot. I really like Quinn's comment.
What did he say? It says,
Feels
scoundrel.
long because it takes an episode and a half to decide which fork to use so as to not insult the ancient line of centaur aristocrats. I can't remember. Did we do the snail episode? It was like when I stood trial before the snails. Was that streamed or was that before we streamed?
I think were we streaming with Bernawath at that time?
That felt like a long one. I remember. It was a lot of like, what do I specifically tell them and what do I withhold? But that, yeah. Some episodes are like that, Quinn, but not a lot of them. So in Karandrin's defense,
Quinn apparently just doesn't ever want to play, which is
yeah,
fine.
You could prove us wrong, Quinn. You could show us that not every episode is long. It can be filled with wonder and excitement, but
that's right.
I guess not.
So wait, isn't the Centaur aristocrats? Isn't that a joke that comedians customize? And anyway, so all right, so you see it, you choose your spot, looks stable, right? You can see actual ground you can stand on. Roll.
Boom, 30 to cast.
Not a great
and
cast.
Using my channeling adder and
12 exhaustion.
52 to aim.
Yeah, you don't need to aim because it's just don't roll terribly, I guess. You still had to roll, I guess, but
52 for my next roll.
That's right. So you boom, you're there.
Okay.
You look around, you feel fairly confident you can navigate, of course, to the secret door that's hidden in the stones.
Right.
Of course, Nalani can help you with that as well if you want to send her up.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember she kind of spotted it before. Anyway, so.
Wow, boom. Open-ended roll. 177.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she finds it very quickly. You were much closer than you thought. You thought it was considerable distant, take a while, but you're like, no, I'm within like 10 yards of it. It's gonna be great.
Nice. Okay.
So you slide and hop and get over that way. Didn't you leave some things here inadvertently?
I did actually. I left. Oh my God! Thank you for reminding me. I left the tome here. A tome of God. Which one was it? I tried casting Detect Curse. I believe not Detect Curse. Where was it? From Nature's Law, I think. Let me search through my notes.
Eye of the Spirit, probably.
Yeah, probably.
So that's where I would go. Like for your note taking, what I would do is leave a parenthetical location on my equipment sheet.
Where it was, yeah. That is true. I probably should have. I do that with like all my other equipment, but like tomes are just like always there. But I forgotten to do that. But here it is. Yeah. This is Detect Curse. Yeah. So it would have been Eyes of the Spirit.
Right.
So I hid it under. Oh no, I did. It's right here, left on slope near the hidden door. My note taking is better than my memory.
That's right.
I need to like remember what notes have been.
Okay, so right.
We had a shirt there covering my tome, that I had left there because it was glowing after I fumbled a spell with it. So
pick it up. It seems fine.
Okay.
You flip through, to the page. It seems like it has mended whatever damage you caused when you fumbled the spell.
Nice.
You go to the door. It has that chain that
Right.
you pull on the chain, and the door opens with the opening toward you, swings away from you, and there is the stench of that undead mass just laying. Yeah.
Do I still feel like a same kind of sense of dread, like something?
It's hard to determine if that's what you're feeling or if it's feeling the anxiety of going into this, given what happened.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of separate those feelings.
But you know what? I should give you a roll because your intuition has proven so insightful.
Yeah.
Why don't you roll for me?
I feel 40.
Yeah, no help. Your gut feeling is not helping you. So let's talk about state of readiness.
Okay.
For one, you've picked up your tome, right? You are taking it in with you.
Yes.
Do you want to cast anything from it before you put it away?
I do. So I'm going to try a detect curse again. Detect curse / unholy.
And where do you want to put the center of the spell? Like where?
I'll put it down the hall, right? So it's a radius of 50 feet plus 10 feet per level. So it's 150 feet. If I put it down as far as the hall I can see, then it'll hopefully tell me around that area.
Not a lot of light in here.
Okay.
It
but
is
can I see the end of the hall though, or no? Does it disappear into?
You know what? It is morning, which means the morning light is hitting this slope.
Okay.
So it is casting down the hall, but you will need light as soon as it turns left or right.
Right.
Because once you're out of this hallway, you won't be able to see.
Right. Although, I forgot I don't have null cards. I can't see in the dark anymore. Damn. That's why I could see.
Right.
Okay. Sorry, I mistook that. It's 9 foot radius plus 1 foot of level. So that'd be 19 feet. 19 foot radius.
So put it 20 feet from the end.
Yeah. So that's what I'll do. Yeah. Point down the hall and use that.
All right. Just, don't roll a 5.
23.
There you go. Not a great casting. What level is it?
1.
All right.
Cast a 10 from the tome. So.
You lose 11 exhaustion from casting from the tome. There is definitely a curse here. Okay. It resists. It puts a magical resistance against attempts to heal. And particularly, it also aggravates any bleeding you have.
Okay. Just similar to the shadow prison, yeah. To the other, whatever we called it, the vortex that surrounded me. Okay. Let me try a, I don't have that one. Do I resist cursed? Yeah, that was a tome I used to have, and then I exchanged it. Okay. At least I think I don't, right? Is that the name of the spell, resist curse? Yeah, I don't have
Uh,
a curse spell. Oh, okay. So I know that. Is there anything else I want to prepare before I go in there? Then I might as well cast night vision on myself. That would be nice.
right.
So I think I've cast that before.
Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is that Eyes of the Spirit also?
yes. Okay. So we'll cast night vision as well
Okay.
from the tome. That is a 54 to
Okay.
cast.
What level is it? Oh, it does. It's going to affect us level 10. So
Level
it's
10, yeah.
yeah. So that's 10 exhaustion, but you've got it at level 10, which means that what's the duration on that? It's going to be like 3 hours or something.
Well, 10 minutes a level.
Okay, so an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll write that down, hour and a half. Okay. And yeah, then we'll have my flail out and start creeping down the hall.
Roll to creep.
Creepy creeps. 6. Stepping on bones.
Yeah,
All
they're
over.
just cracking. Um, and then you turn and you jingle your flail, and then you just freeze and wait and listen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's no sound, so you're like, all right, well, anything within earshot had it shot at me. So you make it down. You sort of stop at the edge of the stairway and listen. There's stairs that go to they go up and to the right. Um, you feel your illness suddenly kind of get worse, and you're like, that's definitely the curse
Yeah.
taking effect. You study the stairs because the way you think like a warrior. And so your thought is the reason for this curse, and especially for the bleeding part of it, is probably arrow and blade traps on the
Yeah.
stairs going up.
Oh, man.
And so roll for me.
72. I've had experience with arrow traps. I remember one of those in the dwarven holds I was exploring. Not fun.
You definitely see places. Um, you spot 4 places thus far on the stairs that are definite triggers.
Okay.
Which means, of course, with your spear, you could just go ahead and trigger them
Yeah.
remotely and hit them. What would you like to do?
Let's do that. Pull on my spear and inch, or anything within reach right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you just, you watch where you're going, you take a few steps until you can reach the first one just barely, and you click it, and it doesn't depress. And you push really hard, and you're like, it's either locked, it's either disarmed, or it's broken.
Yeah, I don't know how much I know about like traps and mechanisms and things like that. I haven't had too much experience. I could figure that out.
Yeah, look, no, you got this. You have a opinion of your skill.
That's what I'm looking for. Traps. Disarm traps is bad. Okay, so I'm like, well, I don't know why it's doing that.
Right.
Um, is there a way I can go around it then, at least?
Yes. They
Okay.
put these clearly. They put them clearly to make the center line of traffic going up the stairs to
Mhm.
be most likely to be hit. Right.
Right. If there's any spells here. So I see four of them. I'll just try to avoid the ones that I do see
Yep.
and slip around them. I'm glad I can see in the dark. So
Yes. The four come in pairs, always on the same step,
mhm.
so that it can cover a broader section of the stairs, but always in that center. And you go up, you test another. As it comes in reach, it doesn't move. Roll for me.
9.
Yeah, it's not making sense to you, but you'll take it, right? It's
Yeah.
old, things get, settled, you get grime in things,
Mhm.
fine, right?
Beauchamp couldn't have been a genius at everything.
Right. I need to write her up. I got to put her in the captions.
Yeah, write her up for sure. She's done a lot
And she's in trouble.
of. Ooh.
That's right. So yeah, the whole way up, you're spotting. You're doing a really good job spotting. I just rolled a 90 for your perception.
Okay.
So you're seeing it's the same sort of traps. Occasionally you're seeing where um, cunning stonework, you can still say, oh, that's a false stone, is what that
Yeah.
is. And
Yeah.
it's, it looks like a crack in this stone on the wall, but what it is actually the seam where it opens and releases the trap.
Wow.
Um, so so you make it up to this top landing. You've gone fairly quietly, but every one of the traps the triggers you've pressed on has been locked rock solid.
Right.
Um, and now you're beginning to wonder if that's by design because the door was
Like,
opened properly.
right. Right. Instead of forced open. Yeah.
Right. Um, which still tells you have to be careful because the mechanism that locks that disarms those traps could malfunction because of age, and one of them is not locked.
Or maybe it's on a timer. Yeah.
So you come to a landing, you stop, before you go all the way up the landing and listen. It's very quiet. On the landing is a large engraved religious scene. And it's from the story of the goddess Lewin talking to the serpent. But here it's the serpent before Lewin's arrival having ensnared the children.
Oh my.
So it's a group of children all, raising their arms and, crying in lamentation while the serpent it's not exactly constricting them, but they're not crushing them, but has bound them
Right.
and is looking down over them. Um,
You just say it's a relief, like a carving.
it's engraving on the landing,
Oh.
that is on the floor.
Wow. Okay.
It is written, um, there's a motto written below. It's not a religious saying or anything else you've heard. It says, always be the one that consumes.
That's a good motto to live by.
Thus far, my
Mhm.
belly says it is the proper way to go.
After the holidays, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
All
amazing.
sweet 230 pounds of me. Mm-mm-mm. Oh,
So
God.
that's an interesting idea too. Like, I guess taking a religious story that has like a positive outcome, but here it's obviously kind of a negative spin on it. I wonder if there's an alternate story, where um, like Voshad and the others believed in or were inspired by. It's curious to think about.
Right. There's a marvelous episode of Deep Space Nine.
Mm.
Um, you have in Deep Space Nine, you have Garrick the Tailor, who is believed to be, and we find out is absolutely a spy for his people. And the Federation doctor is telling him the tale of the boy who cries wolf,
Yeah.
and goes and he says, and so at the end he goes, "See, Garrick, that's why you can't just keep lying because it's because people will stop believing you. That's the
Mhm.
moral of that tale." And Garrick says, "Are you certain of that, doctor?" And the doctor's like, "Yeah, what else would it be?" And Garrick says, "Never tell the same lie twice."
Mm.
And you're like, wow,
Brilliant.
that is just as powerful a lesson. It fits just as
Right.
perfectly.
Right.
And that's sort of what she's done here, right? She's taken some element of it and
Right.
said, you're misfocusing on what the story's about.
Right.
It's not about Lewin's gentle way of saving people and how amazing it is. How amazing is that serpent who faced down a god
Right.
and was going to
Right.
eat these kids? So
Right. That's pretty good.
always be consuming.
Always ABC.
Glenn Karandrin. Oh, that's funny. So you listen. The stairs now turn to your left. It's clearly following the slope of the hill.
Mhm.
So you're just clearly working your way toward the towers.
Right.
What would you like to do? You don't hear anything. You peek around, you don't see anything.
I would like to sneeze. Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Okay. I would. We'll keep on creeping up the stairs then. If I don't hear. Actually, no. We can try. I was going to do another detect. Unholy. Just up the stairs.
Detect curse or detect unholy?
A detect unholy, right? That would detect undead. Maybe
Right.
any forces undead waiting up there. So I would hope that's what it does. So we're gonna pull up my tome and Eyes of the Spirit and cast that. It's a 19.
Oh, that's lovely. That's 15 exhaustion points right there.
That curse is really weighing down on me. Ooh.
Um, the walls and floors read as unholy, but you're wondering if that's because the curse is clearly unholy.
Right. Yeah.
But there are no moving sources
Right.
of unholy. How interesting would it be if the snakes from the Iron Empress evolved orally, oral tradition wise, into being the serpent that Lewin talks
Yeah.
down?
That's my immediate thought when you said this serpent, because I remember this region finding a lot
Yes.
of iconography of the Iron Empress. It would make a lot of sense. It's so hard to imagine though, because I was we were thinking 5,000 over 5,000 years ago. It's like
Yeah.
Christianity itself changed so much in like 3,000 years. So
Oh, yeah.
imagine how all that would go together realistically in history is hard to imagine, hard to picture.
Yeah, I mean, even concepts of like the afterlife and all of that were not set. I mean, it's
Yeah,
very interesting.
yeah.
You know, the believer thinking, the Christian believer thinking that, they have built their foundation on a foundation of rock and not sand is unaware of the history of Christianity.
No, yeah.
Um,
The Middle East was very sandy.
yeah, yeah.
That's terrible. Uh, anyway, I will continue up the stairs.
It's purely an observation on the terrain. I mean, you can't take it as
They,
denigrating.
they built it on sand. I mean,
That's right. I mean, what are you going to say? I mean, you know,
well, they
um,
crushed away all the sand and then built it.
that's right. You use what is it? Pier and beam. You go down until you find the bedrock, and that's what you do. You see that a lot in Texas. All right, so more. Now that you know what you're looking for, the arrow traps are easy to see.
Yeah.
Um, um, Here, though, they've been put on the edges,
Mm.
on the sides, while leaving the center clear.
Mm.
Um,
Tricky, tricky.
you reach the landing safely. And here you have on the floor of the landing another carving, engraved in the stonework. You have the children playing at the river and the serpent looking on.
Mm.
So it's going, as you're going up, the story is going backwards. So as
Right.
you go down, it would play out. Apparently, the story parts that are most important to the necromancer Volshad. Um, Here, there is another motto written. Um, and these are written in Thax, by the way, the Mannish language. It says, "The only wrong prey is the one stronger than you."
Mm. Also, birds to live by.
That's right.
That's why I only eat animals smaller than me.
That's right.
If I can't face it down. I
That's
don't
right.
know. How good is the qualities of the carving?
You have a hard time judging.
Hmm.
You don't like the style that it's
Right.
done in. You can't tell if it's inadvertently bad or deliberately stylistic and rough.
I see. Yeah.
Um, but the uniformity of it suggests it is done with skill. And
Right.
so it was intentional. Um, the actual carvings have been left. A given furrow or a given channel that's been carved into the rocks has been left very rough. It's not smooth
Right.
to the touch.
Right.
And so,
Purposefully so. Yeah.
yeah. And so, but you sort of deduced that, yeah, but it's all very evenly done. It's not like a given carved channel varies a lot or has
Yeah.
chips busted off because they chose the area to carve poorly or they mishandled their tools. And no, it's all very evenly done. So you're like, okay, so this was a deliberate choice. It's just not my choice. Um, Another set of stairs. And again, by the way, on that last set of stairs, you're testing still. They're
Yeah.
testing each one. Each one feels jammed or locked. They don't move.
Okay.
This one, there's no sign of arrow loops or arrow triggers
Right.
or anything else, which doesn't make you feel any better about going up it. But what would you like to do?
We'll go up. I don't want to risk casting too many spells here. We just gotta keep our wits about us. Have my flail in hand.
I'm surprised you don't have your shield. So if you trigger a trap,
Oh, true. Actually, yeah. I can hold the flail with one hand and the shield, right?
yes, but you just can't attack with the flail right now.
Right. So we'll do that. If I have to drop the shield and attack, that's all right. So
Sure.
yeah. Yeah, thanks for the reminder. I kind of forgot. I thought I had my spear and shield in hand, and then I remembered I was flail and shield, and using the spear to test when I can.
So the landing, you come to another landing after gingerly making it up these stairs.
Mm-hmm.
It's another carving on the floor. This is a story you don't know, and apparently it's apparently it's a story of the birth of the serpent. And so it shows this enormous troll having struck a rock with his axe. And so it's sort of two moments in one, in the sense of he strikes it, right? And that should be one moment. Right. And then from this stone emerges the serpent full form.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
And the motto here is, even if you must crawl towards power.
Okay. So then hopefully another set of stairs then? Maybe one.
No, it's a hallway.
Okay.
It turns to the left. Wait. Left. No, so this one turned to the right. And it goes down to a set of double doors. No sign of traps. What would you like to do?
Well, maybe we'll save this for next time.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted where you wanted to stop. So I was.
Yeah, I'm curious what are behind those doors, but I think we'll be a good
have to wait till next time.
Next week.
Yes. So yeah, we made it through to the next year. And we are happy you guys joined us for another episode. We hope you enjoyed it. So we will be back on the 12th. We're going to be sticking to Thursdays, at least for this month, with one exception. We'll get that posted on the website in the next couple of days. But as always, thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's fun that we've made it to 75. It's going to be a big coming year. We're going to be having our, is it our second anniversary? No, it's our third anniversary of streaming. We'll also be hitting episode 100 this year. So we hope you stick around for all of that. If you want to think we're doing a good job and want to hop to donorbox.org / keep us streaming, then you can send us a little gratitude, and we'll use it to improve the stream, and that would be terrific. If you are like me and can't get enough of Max, then you can go and look at his own YouTube channel there where he discusses the role of music in video games. Um, Thanks as always to Elliot Dunovitz for their terrific character art that we use throughout the stream for Brise. You can find more of their work at www.artstation.com/Tortalua. And I've written a novel that I'm pretty proud of called A Shore Too Far, and you can find that on Amazon in ebook and print. So thanks again, everybody. Here's to a great year of Karandrin. See if we can get another 36 episodes in like we did last year.
Yeah.
Max, what do you want to say to these lovely people?
Well, I want to say that I think 2023 is the year for Brise. No more Verilag, no more dealing with demons and stuff. It's going to be all easy. It's going to be all good. That
Breezy.
is my New Year's resolution.
That's right.
But yeah, I hope you have a great hope you had a great New Year, and we'll see you all next week.
That's right. On the 12th, gang. Join us then. Thank you.